I got good visions, but it was interesting. And first thing that came up was just kind of descending on these cliffs. Now, I've never been to England, but first word that came up was Wales.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know if Wales is on the ocean. I didn't even look it up. And then
the cliffs of Dover, that's coming up for me. The cliffs of Dover. Cliffs of Dover.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's Wales, but that's what's just coming up. Yep.
Yeah, that's what it seemed like, something like that. And of course and the year was pretty clear, 1853. Name Sarah Johnston.
Mm-hmm.
Woman, which is odd. I'm usually coming through as Ben. So this is, it's only the second woman that's come through. 27 years old, long dark hair. And when I kind of put the intention to see what I look like, I was dressed well, and it looked like I saw my daughter's face in that woman, in myself. I could have the sense that I was well-to-do, came up to the house. It was a big estate, not massive, but it was nice. But nobody was there, really. There was just nobody there. It was there. I knew there were servants about, but I never really saw anybody up close. And it was like, I'm here, but nobody's ever home. It's just me all the time. And and the first significant experience, it just like I was upstairs looking down into the entryway and going into the study, that there was just a lot of men in a ruckus, frantically skirting about and not really sure what was going on, but I wasn't allowed to be a part of that. That was the sense I was trying to figure out, or trying to let myself open up to what might be going on. And just a fleeting thought, well, is my father dying? And that means he's somebody important and they don't know what to do. And I couldn't get a sense of anything other than, and then there weren't many other significant moments. It was just like I existed. I was just existing. And I don't have any connections to either being married or having children. I never sensed there was a mother in the picture, just a father. And that it was all about the idea or the sense that I was a woman, and that's just tradition. You don't get involved in business. You don't get involved in any of the details of decision making or life. You just exist. You just get to exist and wear pretty dresses and whatever and live. And that was tradition, and that it was the status quo. Death was peaceful at home, just in bed, but again, it was just around with servants around. I just couldn't open up to anything else other than that. But the higher learning, the first thing that came out was just don't settle for less. It's okay to challenge the traditions and expand on them. What I have to say is important and shouldn't be oppressed. And this phrase, which is interesting, it's okay to rock the boat. And that's a phrase that my dad would say. Don't rock the boat. And so in this lifetime. And basically, in looking at the death and alone and not having a relationship or children, it seems like, the message on that is, if you don't speak up or challenge traditions or have your say, because what you say is important, nothing changes and the status quo stays. And nobody expands and nobody grows, and it's empty.
Yeah.
It's an empty life.
That's a good higher learning, isn't it? No growth
Yeah,
or expansion if you don't rock
yeah,
the boat, if you don't challenge the status quo.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
And I think there was part of you, I think that how that relates to you in the church as well. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, it was. Yeah, definitely. Not so much anymore,
Yeah.
but it was. Yeah, the church and my who I am and who I was born to be
Mm,
and just in general in life,
mm,
just walking around, talking to people saying, "Oh yeah, here's my wife." I mean, that's not an easy thing to say.
ex- yeah,
It's just,
exactly. Yeah.
can I trust that person?
Yeah. What's their reaction going to be? Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, and just the way that things have just played out through my life that way of having to just kind of be
Yeah.
withdrawn and not rock the boat.
Yeah. But now it's like you came with the purpose of rocking the boat.
Yeah, and
And
interestingly, because my daughter has come out of the chute rocking the boat. And and I've always encouraged her to have her voice
mhm,
and to use it.
mm,
She needs to learn to refine it, but she's getting better at refining it. But but that was a key element of how I wanted to raise her, was
yeah.
letting her be herself, whatever that is.
All right. And so
Yeah.
you went in with the intention, because I wrote it down. Why do I
Hmm.
undervalue my worth, my skills, my knowledge?
Yeah.
Why
Yeah.
is it hard for me to
Yeah.
accept my value, that it's worth something?
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
see why you were taken to
Yeah.
that lifetime,
Oh
because
yeah.
there was no worth in you. You
Yeah.
existed to wear pretty dresses.
And this is why I absolutely love Jane Austen films. It's like she always gets them in the end.
Yeah.
She breaks the status quo. And because I always resonate, I forgot to bring that up. I always resonate with that kind of time period
Mm,
and how women were, you
yes.
know, yeah.
Yeah,
So,
awesome. So that's good. What we will do is have a quick tapping session after we've been through everyone's
mhm.
what they got, and you can tap that in,
Yeah,
where that came from, and letting that go. And did you give permission to let that go when I said
I did. I did. I said it out loud.
awesome? Well
Yeah.
done.
So I came into like seeing myself in like something we would see Jesus wearing. And sandals and the robe kind of clothing. I didn't get a year. When you said, see if somebody's calling your name, I kind of, my heart started to pound a little bit, and I thought, uh and it was scary.
Mhm.
Could I be Jesus? Um and so I just I did, that name popped in, but I wasn't sure what to connect with it. And as I calmed down and just kind of went with what I could see, I was just meandering through, part of my brain was kind of going, I know all these stories, so what am I pulling from my memory, or just put all that stuff away
Mhm.
and just see what you're seeing. And so just, in some villages, lots of sand, I could smell. Interesting, one of the things that I wrote down on the things that we are connected to was like an incense that you really kind of smell in the Middle East.
Mhm.
A friend of mine brought something back for me from India, and I smelled it, and it was like, oh, I like this scent, and I could smell that in this
Mm.
connection. And then I heard the name Mark, and the only thing I know about Mark in my logical brain is that it's a book of the Bible. So I don't know about any characters Mark, but this Mark, who I settled in as being, was just somebody who didn't have a home. Um, First home was more around the campfire. So it was just kind of like a wanderer who spoke to a lot, small groups of people
Mhm.
about something people wanted to hear about. And so it was just a series of small gatherings outdoors in places, and nothing real super significant that, but I might have closed myself off in the beginning, you know,
Mhm.
kind of getting a little frightened that could this be, could this be that,
Mhm.
and feeling, oh my God, they killed Jesus. This can't be a part of this one, so and in people's homes, surrounded in the life, as I asked, how long did Mark live? To 68, surrounded by loved ones, um, and the higher learning, um, that people are interested in what you have to say, um, and that smaller groups are probably better for me,
Mhm.
rather than anything large, and that sharing knowledge can actually grow into something really big.
Mm.
And I do have a sense that this was around the time of Jesus, and this what it was about, teaching the love of
Mhm.
creation, of the creator, and not trying to indoctrinate anybody, but to help people understand there's this power that could heal, you know,
Mhm. Yeah.
that could heal. And it's just simple sharing, nothing extravagant. And that really resonated with me,
Mm.
you know.
And yeah, because your intention was about having more confidence in speaking to people, telling them
Hmm.
what I do and who I am. So
Yeah.
yeah, that was a really good example of how it can be simple, just sharing. What?
Yeah, it's just sharing in small groups, 5, 6 people at a time.
Yep.
Yeah. So there you have it.
And those small groups may grow into bigger small groups with the more practice and confidence.
It kind of grows. And what it made me think of is, yeah, it started the Christian movement, which there's, pluses and minuses to that, but at the core and root of what I believe is that it's all about love.
Yeah.
And that's what
Yeah.
it means to me,
Yeah.
and honoring humanity
Mm.
from that core. So, and that this goes, back a long ways, and that little bit of meandering
Mm.
grew to something really big. And, unfortunately certain humans took it the wrong way at times,
Mm.
but the smallness can be powerful. And
Yes.
it made me think of the exercise I did with Carolyn, and the fact that uh, Carolyn Mack, and the fact that, whatever project that she was working on was important,
Yes.
and the world needed to see it. And it was just like, okay, that message was for me too,
Mm.
when we were exchanging, working on each other
Mm. Mm.
in that first exercise. So there you go.
Mm. Perfect. Brilliant.